Hello and welcome to CookStars. I'm Annette and I run CookStars in Cardiff North and West. And today we're going to make a fruity crumble fit for a superhero. And why it's fit for a superhero is because of all the goodness which the fruit contains. Now you can choose to use frozen fruit. This was a bag of strawberries, berries, raspberries, blackcurrants, and these in themselves are packed full of vitamin C to make that superhero stronger and stronger. And this, so if you've got frozen fruits, then just use them straight out of the bag. These have been defrosted, but you can cook them from frozen. Or you could use tinned fruit. Often we think of tinned fruit and we perhaps don't use it as much, thinking that it's not as good, but in fact these are pear halves in natural juice, so they're much healthier than a tin with syrup in them, which contains all your sugar. So I've got some pear halves. I've also got some dried fruit, so I've got some sultanas or raisins as well. You can use any dried fruits in this, apricots, dates, anything you like. But I've also got some fresh fruit, and I've got a nectarine. I've got a banana, which is going a bit ripe, which needs using up. In fact, you can put absolutely anything into a fruit crumble. And today I'm going to make a small dish, and I'm going to use 2 pear halves. So I'm just going to slice these into chunks, okay, and pop them into the dish. So it could be tinned peaches, you could have tinned pears, mandarins, fruit cocktail, and as I say, very easy for the children to cut up because they're soft, and so it's a good one to get them practicing their knife skills with. Okay, and pears are a tree fruit, they grow on trees, and they are very good for you. So I've got some 2 pear halves. I've also got a handful of sultanas or raisins. We often think of crumble as being apple crumble, but in fact you can make it so many different ways. Right, if you're using a nectarine, anything with the skin on, which you're keeping the skin on, then you need to wash it. So I've washed my nectarine, and you need to make a cut all the way around your nectarine to be able to bring out the pieces, these segments. So with the segments out, then again we just need to chop. I'm leaving on my peel because the peel contains lots of lovely fibre, which is good for your digestive system. So just chopping up. And when you are making this, it's a good idea that you have all your pieces of fruit much the same size, and that means they'll cook at much the same rate. So you can use a mixture of dried, tinned, fresh fruit, and I, as I say, have got my nectarines. I've got some, instead of apple really, because a nectarine is the cross between the apple and the peach, and raisins, pears, and I also, as I say, I've got a banana which is going quite ripe, and so it needs to be used up. I often use my ripe bananas to make banana ice cream. Bananas are foods fit for that superhero because they contain lots of potassium for good health, lots of fibre and nutrients, and they help fill you up. So they will give you that much needed energy boost. And all I need to do is put a couple of bananas into that as well. I'm also going to put the rest of the bananas into this mixed berries one. Now, bananas, even if they're ripe, are great to use up because they're obviously already soft, but mix them round and they go nice. Another nice one is rhubarb and banana. If you've got rhubarb at any time of the year, then they go really nice in with bananas. Okay, I'm going to add a tablespoon of fruit juice, the natural juice out of the tin. Okay, so I'm just going to put a tiny bit more in, 1 to 1.5 tablespoons of the natural juice from the pears. Remember, crumble can freeze, so if you make this up and want to make bigger quantities, then you can do so, because you can just freeze it. I tend to freeze mine like as when I've made it, and then get it out and cook it at the same time as reheating. So with a lot of fruit, a little bit of cinnamon is quite nice. So I'm going to just put in a pinch of cinnamon. I'm just going to put a little bit on a spoon, and just a hint of cinnamon will add those lovely flavours in your fruit. And particularly at this time of year as well, when fruit, you haven't got all the soft fruits, really nice juicy ones. It's good to use frozen, it's good to use tinned and dried fruit. They've all got the lovely taste. So I've cast my fruit aside, and I'm going to now make my crumble. Now this crumble topping is actually a little bit healthier than usual, because I've got all those natural sugars in there. This crumble topping doesn't have too much sugar in it. Now I'm going to make just enough to go on the top of this one. So if you're making a bigger dish, then you can just double up the ingredients. So I've got 25 grams of plain flour in my bowl. Get the children measuring, because that way they're learning. Okay, and I'm also going to add 25 grams of porridge oats. Now oats are full of fibre, full of nutrients, and are very good for you. So, you know, the oats in this recipe are being substituted instead of the extra flour. So it's got like half oats, half flour in it. And it also adds a nice crunchy texture to your finished dish. And then I've got 25 grams of caster sugar, and just stir that around. And then the last ingredient is 30 grams of butter or margarine. Okay, so in my bowl, I'm now going to rub in, okay, the butter into the flour with the rubbing in method of cake making. And I'm just, it's only a small amount, and you can see that I'm just squeezing, getting a bit of butter and rubbing it through. So I've got 25 grams of sugar, 25 grams of plain flour, because we don't want it to rise, 25 grams of porridge oats. And we're just going to rub this between our fingers until the butter's disappeared and we've got breadcrumbs. And then this mixture can go on top of the fruit. It will need to be cooked on a gas mark 5 or 190 degrees, slightly lower if you've got a fan oven, and until it's golden brown and the fruit has softened. And then you can enjoy this crumble with lovely custard, ice cream, or cream, or on its own. And as I say, just vary your flavours and experiment. And it's good for children to see all these different fruits, which for superheroes, it's going to give them lots of energy, but it's going to be good energy, natural sugars, porridge oats, really, really good, and lots of vitamin C. So my crumble topping is done, and I'm just going to put this over the top of my recipe, of my dish, and I'm going to put it all out, and then just with your finger, just push it over to the edges. I'm not flattening it. I want it to be, I don't want it to be pressed down. I just want to lightly put that together. And there we have a delightful fruity crumble with fresh fruit, dried fruit, tinned fruit. And then I will be making this one with, I will double the ingredients to make the topping for this one with frozen fruit, and then cook it for 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes until soft, depending on the size of your recipe, and enjoy. And these are indeed fit for a superhero, so enjoy. Bye.